Hi everyone, it's Sean. I am somewhere off the 8 freeway in California between a small town called Acumba and Ocotillo that way. I'm gonna make this quick because I'm pretty much down this ravine area, and sometimes people tend to throw crap outside their car, and I don't want to be the receiving end of whatever they throw out. But here's the ravine that I'm talking about. This area is pretty nice. I mean, very, very nice. I did a video out here earlier in the year, and I felt like I was gonna pass out because it was over 100 degrees. You definitely don't want to be out here in summer. Good thing we're in fall. Let me rest this camera here real quick. It's a bit windy. I don't want it to fall down. So topic of today is, what kind of certifications should I get as a private security officer? Before I begin this presentation, I'm going to be looking around because I don't know what the hell is going to pull on the side of the road. I don't know if a snake is going to come out of the rock, so please excuse me, but please understand that I have to be aware of my surroundings. Okay, so the topic is, what kind of certification should I get? Well, to be honest with you, completely honest, for the most part, most security companies, they just want you to show up to work. Now, I subscribe to the Commander Hall channel, and I do so because he's a private security company owner. He always talks about his business, the ups and downs about it, and he's really candid on things that happen around every day-to-day operations. He doesn't hide stuff. But the most problem that he has is people not showing up to the post. If you don't show up to the post, the owner of the company can lose that contract. If that contract is lost, everybody else future job assignments is at risk. So you have to show up. In California, we require you to have what's called a guard card. Guard card is just a fancy name for a private security guard registration. What that is allows you to work at a post. So in 29 days, you need the guard card course, which is an 8-hour course. Okay, it includes, right now at the moment, weapons of mass destruction. They're going to change that around. The other half is powers to arrest. You need that course to go to any post for the first 29 days. On the 30th day, you have to show proof of 16 hours of mandatory elective training, and then within 6 months after that, you have to show an additional 32 hours, which will make it 40 hours of training for the year on the 6th month at a post. If you're in California, I recommend that you at least have that minimum amount of training. Okay, don't show up to a job interview with no training. At least that. Find out what the minimum state requirement is to be a private security officer in your state. Fulfill those requirements. Do that. That's number one. If you get some type of other exotic certification, degrees, everything else, that may or may not help. Again, with most companies, they just want you to show up to work. They want you to show up to work and not be able to solve problems without calling a supervisor every hour of the night. They want you to be independent, self-sufficient, be able to work on your own most of the time. Yeah, there's a supervisor assigned to the post, that's going to differ. Now, if you want a different assignment, so let's just say you want to work at a hospital, I would have all that certification, plus I would get the certification called, it's from IAHS. It stands for International Association of Hospital Security. They have different tiers. Just get the basic one. Now, if you complete the basic course, and you can complete it online, it's actually a difficult course. I completed it some years back, and I have to say, it's not easy. You can't just choose multiple guesses and think you're gonna get the right answers. No, you have to read the material. I think for in-house private security for hospitals, that's gonna help. It's gonna help you a lot, because they're gonna see everybody showing up with just a guard card, maybe the minimum amount of training, plus you have this training. It's gonna help you shine. Contract security, I don't think so much, but I could be wrong. If you're contract security in a hospital, and you believe that IAHS certification is going to help, then please let me know. If you want to move up the ranks to the supervisor, a command staff level, or director level, it looks very good to have that IAHS certification. Okay, and they even have a supervisor and a management certification. Forgive me, it's getting hot right now. I think we're at 82 degrees. Now, if you plan on, some of you plan on getting some type of law enforcement certification. So in California, we have what's called the 832 Penal Code course. You can complete this course at your local college. You learn basic arrest and control laws, and you learn arrest and control tactics, and you also learn how to use a firearm. Okay, my criticism of that course is it teaches you to be a minimum level performing peace officer, but not a private security officer. So you might get mixed up with knowing what the laws of arrest are for peace officers, unless you are well balanced in your knowledge of what private security guards do. And those of you, I may be mentioning peace officer in California. That's a fancy term for a certified law enforcement officer. Okay, a state law enforcement officer, or somebody that's sworn at a state level, even a county level, or even maybe a school district level. We refer to them as peace officers. Maybe they'll refer to them also in your state. Now you can level it up. You can complete a level 2, 1, 2, 3, or a regular basic police academy or basic post academy, POST, basic public safety academy in California. Does that look good? You guys, to be honest with you, with most companies, again, they don't care. They just want you to just show up to work, be dependent, be mature, problem solve, right? You gotta be good problem solvers. Okay, they don't want people that get into trouble. Is it gonna help? I don't necessarily think so. Some agents, some security companies might think that you're a peace officer, falsely believe you're a peace officer because you completed this higher level of training. It depends on the company. Myself, if I'm a hiring manager, because I have a law enforcement background, as long as we have a sit down on what a private security officer is able to do, and we compare that to your level of training, whether it be level 1, 2, and 3, or even the 832 course, we have a basic understanding. If I had a stack of applicants and everybody had the guard card, they had all the 40 hours or whatever the state minimum requirements are, they've had that training and a level 1, 2, or 3 or 832 peace officer academy, I would actually choose that person over others. But if I had somebody that was more mature, more life experienced, had a lot more security experience without getting into trouble, I think I would more have leaned towards that person than the person with this law enforcement training. Okay, and that's just my opinion. I have a lot of hiring managers on this channel. They review this channel, they look at it. A lot of them don't comment. They don't give me feedback. That's fine. But I do have people that own security companies, and they do provide feedback, very good feedback. So just chime in if you are one of those persons. If you're going to work executive protection or something that's involved maybe celebrities, that's more close quarters, the hiring manager most likely will want you to have some type of executive protection training. It's hard to find that training in California. If you can find it, great. Sometimes you might have to go to Nevada or Arizona or another state where they have that training. I think Nevada has a more of a selection of executive protection courses, but they want that. If you know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, maybe Krav Maga, some other weaponless defense techniques, that's going to help. Okay, that's going to help for sure. Being in shape. Okay, I'm not in the best shape of my life, and that's my fault. I wouldn't even think about signing up working executive protection right now at the moment. You got to have somebody that be able to deal with threats, non-lethal threats with very little backup. You might have another partner, maybe you're it. So That's what they're looking for. Somebody that has somebody that at least has that training experience. In my opinion, in law enforcement security, most of the time trumps education and training. Okay. School district. If you work for a school district or college district in California, there's a 24-hour course called, I think it's school security officer. There's a penal code attached to that. I don't know what it is on top of my head. I'm down this ravine and I can't pull up information. But it's a course that's for, I think it's like 832.2 or 0.6. I can't remember. But it's a 24-hour course. It's designed for school security. Okay. If you want to work school security, even college security, take that course. Take that course, and it's going to help you gain the upper advantage. Those of you that have degrees, it does help. You got a 2-year degree, 4-year degree. In my opinion, many times you're overqualified, but maybe that qualification that you have will eventually lead you to become a mid-level supervisor, a manager, the operations manager. Okay, there's a time and place for that, but don't think you're going to be the operations manager after 4 months on the job. You got to put your you got to do your work. You got to do your time. Don't expect to get that assignment in a year, not even 2 years. It might take a couple of years. Okay, don't be that guy that shows up one day to work, and we all know them. 1 week of work, oh, I deserve to be the operations manager. It doesn't work that way. We want to hire people who have been tested, battle tested. When I say battle tested, I don't mean out there in a war zone. Battle tested in the law enforcement security realm. Battle tested, and somebody that has made mistakes with other employers. Okay, that way the mistake that you might eventually make won't be as costly. Okay, complete the school security course. That's going to help you. I think generally, if you want to get the better jobs, again, minimum level training, but also consider de-escalation training. There's a course called non-violent crisis intervention or something to that effect that many hospitals require. If you're working hospital security, let me know if that's the course you're using. That course will get your ass kicked in a hand-to-hand fight in a hospital or a facility where they require that training. Let me tell you how this training is. And I'm just going to tell you from my perspective. Maybe I had an instructor that didn't teach exactly how he or she was supposed to get taught. You guys, my instructors, for the most part, were EMTs, emergency medical technicians, and nurses. I would rather want somebody from the hospital security staff to teach me, or law enforcement or military, not the EMT or the nurse. Okay, I want somebody that has been battle tested. I want to know that you tested those techniques. Now, somebody from the law enforcement side one day, and he actually watches this channel, by the way. I won't tell you who he is, but he watches it. He was one of the instructors, and on one of these courses, he said, "Hey, look, man, guys, this course is designed as a political tool. It's designed to, it looks good on paper because it says nonviolent crisis intervention. It looks good on paper, but in a real fight, this is probably not going to help you." And he was up front, but the EMTs and the nurses, they were so convinced that these things work, the techniques. So one of the most ridiculous techniques that I was taught was this. Somebody needs to be restrained, maybe a behavioral health patient, and verbalization doesn't work. They don't listen to you because they are in an altered state of mind. So you call your partner that has the stupid pin that says nonviolent crisis intervention on it. You find somebody that also has a training. That means that they went to the training. And then you say team, okay? You're gonna yell out team. They're gonna come to you, and then you're gonna point at the person, and you're gonna say something like move, okay? And you're gonna move at different angles. Grab a leg, and pin them against the wall, and then put your butt against the other person's butt, the other, whoever's gonna help you. And then you say move or some other thing. I think you say team again. And after that, you direct them to the ground. Like, nice. Oh gosh, dude. Oh man. Look, the person that designed this is a former law enforcement, and I do understand, or retired law enforcement, I do understand that you need a politically nice phrase for a type of training that you have, but I don't think this is gonna work with somebody that is determined, hell-bent to beat your ass. You're gonna need Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, some techniques that you learn in arrest and control class and in law enforcement or security class, maybe Krav Maga, maybe something else, you guys. Not that, not this. There's another course at the hospital I took. It's called MOAB, M-O-A-B, Managing Assaultive or Aggressive Behavior, MOAB, something like that. There was some more practicality to that course, okay? And I believe that the techniques in that course can help you in a violent confrontation. But the hospital where I worked at, they stopped teaching that course, and then they went to the other nonviolent crisis intervention. I mean, come on, you guys, for all sakes, you're trying to stop somebody from being violent. It's difficult to do when you're not reacting in a violent manner. Sometimes when violence approaches you, you got to counteract with other violence, and there's no way of making it look nice. You can make it sound nice on paper, calling it nonviolent crisis intervention, or hey, call it what it is, okay? Anyhow, although I have very strong criticisms of one of those courses, my disclaimer again is I'm probably explaining it. I'm explaining it maybe a little bit wrong. Maybe that's not exactly how it was taught, because I'm not an instructor. I was just a student. This is something that I remembered from 8 years ago. Maybe one of you guys are listening to this and you could better explain some of these techniques, and you can persuade us on how much these techniques are going to work. But that's not the case right now. On paper, these trainings look great. So whether you're hospital, contract security, maybe detention security, security for a school district, security for a government agency, maybe you patrol the parks, there's a security contract for that. That looks great on paper, and I recommend that you attend that training. So attend your basic training, and any training that has a certificate that comes out with de-escalation, non-violent crisis intervention, managing aggressive behavior, these terms on certificates that make everything sound fluffy, they do look great on paper. I suggest that you definitely you take these courses, and then again, executive protection courses. You might need to go to Nevada or another state. One of these courses might help. Executive protection, you kind of need it. I keep saying executive protection because this is where a lot of the money comes in. If you want to actually make a living being a line staff member of a security company, executive protection is helpful. Now, if you're somebody that is a perimeter, now in law enforcement, almost all the time, I've been that perimeter guy, the guy that sits on the perimeter away from the action, not the guy that goes inside the house when the scene is insane and crazy. I've been there. But many times in my career, I'm the guy that's all over there watching the fence, watching the perimeter, you know, the boring stuff. I've been that guy. So in executive protection, you have those guys that are perimeter guys. Now, it's nothing derogatory. But I'm saying is you're usually not close quarters. You're not close protection agent. You're not directly with this movie star or celebrity. You're not the person that's directly next to them. But if something happens, I will tell you, you're the first responder. You're right there. You're the person at the barricades, the barriers, the fence. These assignments do not pay generally as much as the close quarter ones, the executive protection agents, the ones that are right next to the VP. Okay. If you want to go over executive protection, take the executive protection course. A lot of self-defense courses will help. Go to these classes that give you a certificate. Again, on paper, it looks great. I have a certificate from this place, from that place. My only criticism of, there's a training company out there called Fieldcraft Survival. I've been a gunfighter one. There's no certificate. and I did a video on that, by the way. One of the best courses I've taken in my life. I wish they gave a certificate. It does look great on paper. They don't. They do have really good training. I think Sheepdog Response has excellent training. I haven't been in there. If you go to the Security Guard channel, our host has been a sheepdog training, and I think that is in Utah. Very good course. These executive protection companies, they look at that type of training. If all your experience does not involve military or law enforcement, then you're going to need to get more training just to get your foot in the door. Some of the instructors that teach these courses, they're already well connected in the industry. They might pull you on the side, maybe lunch, and give you a business card, an email address, a point of contact person to contact later on. If you stand out. So, military. If you got the military experience, in general, what they want is military experience that helps out with the assignment. I love all of you that are military, but not every MOS is going to help you get into a particular niche in executive protection. Now, what I do like, why I like to hire a military, is because many of them, they're accustomed to taking orders. I'm not saying that if I give you a screwed up order or that runs against your morals, you're going to follow it, and I hope you don't. But generally, in the heat of the moment, military and law enforcement, they're accustomed to taking orders from somebody that's competent, though. Okay, that's competent in the situation that needs to be addressed. Hope this video helps you understand what kind of certification you should get, or at least consider. If you guys have any comments, suggestions, those of you who are in executive protection, a lot of you guys don't comment because you're deep into whatever assignment it is. You're comfortable where you're at, and sometimes you want maybe a legal update or a standards of training update. That's why you subscribe to the channel. I know some of you don't want to say anything. You can always email me if you don't. If you do want to respond, maybe using a different name that's nothing close to yours in the comments. A lot of people read the comments. Please comment below. You guys all take care and be safe.